everybody. Welcome back. It's time now for today's panel of fierce women to talk about love, relationships, and what's happening in the world. It's time for some straight talk. Well, first up, everybody, from Dancing with the Stars, she's a TV personality, on-air host, dancer, and choreographer. Say hello to Carrie Ann Inaba. Next, she's an accountability coach and fitness influencer. You've seen her on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Please welcome Teddy Mellencamp. And for all you old school players out there, her daddy is John Mellencamp.
Okay.
Yeah. 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 And finally, she's a Grammy-winning singer-songwriter and television host. Her album, Reality Bites, is out now. Please welcome back my buddy, Bridget Kelly. All right. Now, Carrie Ann.
Yep.
Julie Chen mentioned you in her exit announcement. Would you ever consider filling her seat at the table on The Talk?
Well, you know, I mean, when she made that video announcement, I was shocked because I was so just shocked that she even mentioned my name. And of course, I mean, who wouldn't want to take an opportunity like that? But I mean, I'm still just kind of in shock and honored that she even supported her Asian sister. Not a lot of women do that, but she showed me what she's made of. She's just like, I support you, my Asian sister, as she's going through so much. I have respect. Yeah.
But that's really good, though.
Yeah.
And I think it would be good, too, because television has to recognize the diversity of the world, and they have to reflect that.
Look at this, right
You
here.
have to reflect
Right here, yeah, thank you.
So let's get right to it. First topic, it's common to experience bumps in the road as you get to know your partner, right? Okay, but what happens when you find yourself dealing with the same relationship issues repeatedly after reaching your 1-year milestone? 1 year, you've been in it, but you keep going over the same things over and over and over.
I would say the first thing is you've got to do a little self-reflection and say, am I doing anything to cause this constant state of confusion?
Yeah.
Am I being too selfish? Am I being too selfless? And if you get to the place where you realize, you know what? No, I'm actually doing the right thing, and your partner's not compromising, you're not going to change them.
Right.
I also think that there's a bit of a difference between patterns and like your beliefs. So I think a lot of times people develop patterns because of the family you're raised in, the friends that you hang out with, your job, and you get stuck in these patterns, and maybe they're not healthy for the relationship you're in. That's okay, because those are changeable with time and patience.
Right.
But I think if it's a belief, you can't change that. If they're doing something because they believe a certain way, they're not going to be able to shift that. So I think you need to know the difference and discern, is it a belief or is it a pattern?
Yeah, are you being patient or are you being tolerant?
Exactly.
Because at the end, tolerance and patience, there's a fine line. And honestly, a year is a long time. The older I get, the more I value my time, right? A year is a long time to figure out whether or not we're compatible or not.
I agree. You know, within the first 3 months, I think, the red flags are starting to show.
And some things are personality traits, like you said, habits, or it's things that people need to grow out of. Are you willing to grow? I think a huge red flag to me is, what are your personal aspirations that you have not achieved yet? If a year into it, you're still in the same place, you haven't achieved any of the goals that we talked about in the beginning, we need to part ways.
Well, you know, I agree with, and plus, you know, here's what the deal is. After a year, if the same fight is over the exact same issue, somebody in that relationship doesn't care how the other person feels.
Right.
Period. You've got to do some self-examination. Because if you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting.
Right.
And so many times in a relationship, I just think that people are locked into these behaviors, and then we both sitting there not feeling good about it instead of addressing what it is. A relationship is nothing but a series of compromises. 100%. If you're not willing to compromise, you cannot be in a relationship.
But also, I feel like people, women especially more so, I think, although there's some men, they feel like they need to be in a relationship, so they'll put up with a lot. Like, I feel like a lot of people are afraid to be alone. Like, as a single woman at 50, I get a lot of people looking at me like with a little bit of sympathy in their eyes. They don't even mean to, but I don't need sympathy. I'm making choices that feel really good to myself, and yeah, it's not what everybody expects of me, but it feels really good. And I think we need to encourage that in people so they don't stay in bad relationships.
But also in that same token, there are the people that constantly make you feel like they're in the perfect relationship, and they're so busy promoting that they're in this great relationship that they're not addressing what's actually happening.
Right.
No relationship's perfect.
No, for Instagram, you got people just post stuff, make it look like we just so happy. I mean, look, man, nobody's happy all the doggone time.
Not even a little bit.
I don't care who you are, man. My wife mad at me right now.
Now she is.
Hey, folks, let's go. Up next, some new research has found that children as young as 8 years old are suffering from body image issues. We're going to hear what the panel has to say about that when we come back. All right, everybody, we're back with today's Straight Talk panelists, Carrie Ann Inaba, Teddy Mellencamp, and Bridget Kelly. All right, here's the next topic. New research has found that children as young as 8 years old are suffering from body image issues that could have serious and long-term health consequences. One professor is claiming social media can be toxic for children's body image. Another study was done to suggest that younger children are already aware of what dieting is, and some even might have even tried it. Trying a diet. All right, ladies. What do you think of this?
Why are we 8 years old even on social media?
Right.
I was 8 years old is what, second grade? Yeah. Like in second grade, I think I was still trying to struggle to write my letters all facing forward, right? Like the level of struggle and issue should not be on social media. So I think that's a parental issue for one. And two, the body image stuff is tough, and I have a hard time with it because I think there's a difference between being overweight and being obese, right? To me, childhood obesity is child abuse. It's negligence. It's unfair to the kid. It's not. I have a whole issue with it, and I think it's less about body image and more about health.
Right. And I think social media and healthy living as a child go hand in hand, because if you're always on your tablet or your phone or your filter or whatever it is, you're not out doing active things. You're not playing basketball, you're not running around, you're not doing active things with your family. So if you're living a more active lifestyle with your family, it shouldn't even be a topic.
Right.
I need to be a good role model for my kids. Yeah. And doing that is creating a life where they can be active and where you don't even need to discuss the food option. It's just what they're living.
I feel social media's not going away, internet's not going away, and we live in a day and age where there's just access. Kids have access to everything. So it's really important, like what you said about parenting. You've got to be in there. I have a daughter who's a stepdaughter from a second fiance that we never got married. It's a long story, but I'll tell you about that later. But she's wonderful. She's 21 years old, but we talk about everything. And at first I was like, am I over-talking? Am I giving her too much information for a young girl? But I realized it's out there, so I better give her a place to discuss it and ask questions. And I may not know the answers, but I think that's important.
Well, I think that it's going to get increasingly more difficult, increasingly more invasive.
Right.
I think that technology is going to go to places where you can see and find out stuff about people that's really privileged information. I think it's only going to get worse. I think what has to be fixed, though, is there has to be something put in place to protect some people, especially children. It's like, you know, a person can go on the internet and say anything they want to about you. That's not right. Nah, man, that's not right.
Well, I mean, the other part of it is, too, when discussing things with children, and I mean, social media is, it's a scary place. Like you said, people are very nasty. And we've witnessed really tragic situations where children take their own lives because somebody left a comment that made them feel like their life wasn't worth living. I mean, for somebody to have that kind of power, I think overall, and I don't have any children yet, but when I have children, the conversation is gonna be about planning for the future, right? Whatever is happening in that space on social media, which is something even as an adult I have to remind myself of, it's all temporary. you have to make sure that you set parameters as a parent.
Boundaries as a parent on what
because
you can do, what you allow your children.
Okay, but let me ask you this. This body shaming comes down to like unhealthy eating habits.
Right.
How do you teach kids healthy eating habits without implying that there might not be something wrong with their body?
You practice what you preach. If you are serving meals that you are eating yourself and you're not talking about it, but these are greens, they help with this. This is whole grains, it helps with this. You're teaching them versus you should eat this because you look this way.
You know what they say? As soon as you say should to somebody, your inner child goes, no way!
It's like, don't.
It's like you rebel
don't.
against it. Never say, like, should is not good.
You sit down as a family and you eat together, you eat the right things, and then if you go to a birthday party, you let your kids enjoy themselves with everybody else.
But that's
balance.
It is, but just make it about development, right? And talk about you're planning for your future. We're trying to shape you. Your body is developing. So whatever we put into it, we want to make sure it's shaping you for later on in your life.
I also agree with her because you have to set the example for your children.
Right.
So that's it. I love y'all, man. Y'all should come back all the time. Thanks for being here today, ladies.
Thanks for having me.
You're really fun. Your father, man. Really cool. Thank you, darling.